Good morning, student. This is chapter number 14, Human Nutrition. Now, what is meant by human nutrition? What is meant by nutrients and nutrition? The material which provides the two primary requirements of life, namely energy and raw materials, or also called as matter, are called as nutrients. And the process which are responsible for providing energy are nutrition for respiration, and this nutrition is the sum total of all process through which the food is taken in, digested, absorbed and utilized, and finally the undigested matter is eliminated outside the body. The nutrition includes the process like the ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion, which is also called as the defecation. Now these are the important steps of nutrition. 5 steps are there: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and digestion. In that, first one is the ingestion, the process in which food is taken inside the body and this ingested food is then digested. This is the first. Second one is the digestion, the process during which complex, non-diffusible and non-absorbable food substances are converted into simple and diffusible and absorbable substance by the enzymes, and which is called as digestion. Third step is a absorption, process in which the simple substances get diffused into the blood. Thus, the absorbed food is now carried to each and every tissue cell of the body where it is assimilated. Next one is a fourth one, assimilation, the process by which the protoplasm is synthesized into each cell of the body by utilizing the simple food substance. And last, which is the digestion, the process of the elimination of indigestible remains of the food from the alimentary canal, which is called as defecation or evacuation. You can see in this photograph, this is our digestive system. In that, salivary glands is located in the mouth, and this saliva it is present in a mouth area, buccal cavity. Now this area consists of tongue, parotid glands, sublingual glands and submandibular glands. And after this oral cavity, the long the neck region, which is called as a pharynx. Now this pharynx is again there is a long tube like structure which is called as esophagus. After that there is a liver, gallbladder, pancreas is there, and this rounded bag like structure which is called as a stomach. Now this stomach enter into the small intestine, and the small intestine attached to the large intestine. Next one is a rectum, and last one is a anus. This is the digestive tract or digestive system of human being. Now this human digestive system consists of two parts: alimentary canal and accessory gland. Alimentary canal, it shows different parts. First one is a mouth, then buccal cavity. This buccal cavity again shows three parts: palate, tongue and teeth. Next portion is a pharynx. This pharynx is again divided into three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Next one is a pharynx opens into the esophagus. After that, stomach is again parts are there: stomach, cardiac stomach, fundus and pylorus. Now this stomach is open into the or attached to the small intestine. It shows the three portions or parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. And this small intestine forward, it is attached to the large intestine, and it shows three portions or parts: cecum, colon, rectum, and this rectum finally attached to the anus. This is about the alimentary canal. Next one is the accessory glands. These are the salivary glands. In that, this salivary gland is again three parts are there: parotid, sublingual and submandibular, and pancreas, which is acts as the exocrine part. and third one is a liver. In that first one is a mouth. First part is a mouth. The uppermost transverse slit-like opening of alimentary canal bounded by two fleshy flaps and leads to the large cavity called as oral or buccal cavity. Now this mouth is leads to the other cavity, which is a buccal cavity. Now this buccal cavity shows large space bounded above the palate, sides by the jaw. They bear the teeth, upper jaw and lower jaw. Below the throat, they support the tongue. And it is lined by the squamous epithelium and mucous epithelium. And presence of this buccal cavity consists of presence of tongue, teeth and salivary gland. Next part is a tongue. This is the thick muscular protrusible organ attached to the floor of buccal cavity by a fold of mucous membrane, and this membrane called as lingual frenulum, and bony attachment like the styloid process and hyoid bone. Upper surface shows presence of numerous raised projection called as papillae, which contain sensory receptors for taste, which is called as a gustatory receptors, and they are useful for the taste, mixing of food with the saliva and deglutition in a swallowing. These are the main functions of tongue. First one is the taste, mixing of food with saliva, and deglutition is, that is, swallowing. This is the mouth, which is formed by the cheeks, hard and soft palate and tongue. And this buccal cavity, it shows the upper jaw and lower jaw. And this both the jaws, it shows different types of teeth is then, which is called as a heterodont teeth, or teeth are different. And that first two pairs or first four teeth are there, which is called as incisors. And near that incisor there is a one pair is there, which is called as canines, which is the pointed one. After the canines there is again two pairs, which is premolars, and premolars there is a three pairs of molars are there in both the upper and lower jaw. Now teeth presence on both the upper and the lower jaw. The following terminologies describe the teeth. First one is a thecodont. They are fixed and sockets fixed in the sockets of the jawbone, and it is called as a thecodont teeth. Heterodont, they are different types of teeth like a human being or mammals. First one is the incisors. These are chisel shaped for biting, cutting and gnawing. Then nanines. Canines is a pointed used for the ripening and shredding. After that, premolars for grinding, and molars also for grinding. These are the human beings having the heterodont type of teeth. Then a third one is a dipodont. Teeth appear twice during the lifetime. Hmm. In our childhood, the teeth are present, which is a 20 in number, and such type of teeth called as deciduous teeth. And in during the in adult age, they are permanent and they are 32 in number. And these are the numbers which show the teeth in a upper jaw and lower jaw. You can see in a deciduous there is a 20 number. 2 are incisors in upper jaw, 2 in a lower jaw, which is I means incisors. C for canines, 1 in upper, 1 in lower. Premolars are absent in a deciduous, which is 0 0, and molars are 2 2 in number. Next is a permanent, it is 32 number. You can see incisors again same, 2 and 2. Then canines 1 1, premolars 2 2, upper jaw 2, lower jaw 2, and molars are 3 in number, 3 in upper jaw and 3 in lower jaw. This is the photograph showing the deciduous and permanent teeth. This is the deciduous and permanent teeth. Now teeth are anchored in a socket of the alveolar process of the mandible and maxilla. So you can see in this section of the teeth, there is a white color portion which is called as a crown, and below that there is a neck, and last blood capillaries supply, which is a root. Now this white portion which is called as a enamel, this is a white covering is there on teeth which is called as enamel. Below that there is a dentine. Then there is a nerves are there which is called as pulp in a pulp cavity. And below these pulp or pulp cavity, the tube like structure which is called as a root canal. And this is the and below that there is a nerves with the blood supply. This is about the teeth section. Clinical application in that root canal therapy. Root canal therapy is multi-step procedure in which all traces of pulp tissues are removed from the pulp cavity and root canals of badly diseased tooth. After a hole is made in the tooth, the canal are filled out and irrigated to remove the bacteria, and then the canals are treated with the medication and sealed with tightly, and the damaged crown is repaired, and this is nothing but the root canal therapy. Next one is the salivary gland. Now this salivary gland is again it shows three parts: sublingual gland, then submandibular gland, and parotid gland. This is parotid gland below the ear, near the below the cheekbones. Next portion is the pharynx. The buccal cavity leads and open into the pharynx. It can be divided into three regions: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx lies behind the nasal cavity, having the internal nares and Eustachian canal, and it is called as a nasopharynx. Then oropharynx, it lies behind the buccal cavity and forms a passage for the bolus of the food. And third, laryngopharynx, it is the lowest part of the pharynx and it has two openings: glottis, which leads to the trachea, and gullet, which leads to the esophagus, which is very important. Glottis, which is leads to the trachea, and gullet, which leads to the esophagus. Now, deglutition is a mechanism that moves food from the mouth into the stomach. Now, we are taking the food through the mouth, and which is called as a bolus. And this bolus is again goes in the pharynx and esophagus. This is the first position of structure before the swallowing, and second picture is during the pharyngeal stage of swallowing. You can see this pharynx portion: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Next part is the esophagus. The esophagus is a 25 centimeter long, narrow muscular tube connecting the pharynx to the stomach. It is lined by the stratified squamous epithelium containing the mucus gland, and the food moves through the esophagus due to the rhythmic contraction of the longitudinal and circular muscles, and this movement is called as peristalsis. You can see in this picture, muscles are relaxed. This is the circular muscles, and this is the bolus of food, and longitudinal muscles also present, and the muscles are contract and bolus is moved forward, and which is called as a peristalsis movement. It happens in a esophagus. Clinical application: cardia achalasia. The failure of the sphincter to relax causes impediment for the food to pass through the esophagus, and distension of the esophagus can lead to pain, which is often confused with the heart pain. This is you can see lower esophagus sphincter fails to relax, so it is remain contract, and this is called as a cardia achalasia, and most often it is confused with heart pain. Next one is the heartburn, which is a common failure of the sphincter to close after the passage of food in the stomach can cause the content of the stomach to revert back in the esophagus, thereby leading to the irritation of the esophageal wall, causing a burning sensation called as a heartburn, or we can commonly say it as acidity. Next one is the stomach Now it is a sac like J shaped, which is 25 to 30 centimeter long. It is having a three parts: cardiac, fundus, and pyloric. It has two sphincters, both end of the stomach: cardiac sphincter and pyloric sphincter. This cardiac sphincter prevents the regurgitation of food back into the buccal cavity is very important. Then pyloric sphincter, it regulates the passage of food into the duodenum. Now what is the function of this stomach? It churns the food, that is break the food into smaller pieces which facilitate the mixing of food with the gastric juice. Next portion is the small. This is the longest part of the digestive system. It is 6 centimeter long and 2.5 centimeter broad. It is compactly coiled in the abdominal cavity. The coils are held together by connective tissue membrane called as mesenteries, supporting the blood vessels, lymph vessels, and nerves. It shows three parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. This is the upper portion near to the stomach, which is the duodenum, middle portion jejunum, and the last, which is the ileum. Duodenum, which is a U-shaped, about 25 centimeter long. Next part is the stomach. It is sac like J-shaped, 25 to 30 centimeter long. It shows three parts: cardiac, fundus, and pyloric. Now the sphincters are both ends of the stomach: cardiac sphincter and pyloric sphincter. Now this cardiac sphincter prevents the regurgitation of food back into the buccal cavity, and this pyloric sphincter regulates the passage of food into the duodenum. So you can see in this picture, this is the first, which is a cardia, then pylorus, and this is the fundus. Function: it churns the food, that is breaks the food into smaller pieces which facilitate the mixing of food with the gastric juice. Next one is a small intestine. The longest part of the digestive system, it is 6 centimeter long and 2.5 centimeter broad. It is compactly coiled in the abdominal cavity. The coils are held together by connective tissue membrane called as a mesenteries, supporting the blood vessels, lymph vessels, and nerves. You can see in this picture duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. These are the three parts are there. In that, duodenum is a U-shaped, 25 centimeter long bile duct and pancreatic duct opens in the duodenum, and jejunum is a 2.5-meter long and narrower than the duodenum. And last one is the ileum, which is the lower part of the small intestine, which is 3.5-meter long and opens in the large intestine. Next part is a large intestine. It is 1.5-meter long, arranged around the mass of the small intestine in the form of a question mark. You can see in this picture, this large intestine, it is look like a question mark. In that, it shows three parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. In that cecum, the small blind sac of the colon present at the junction of ileum and colon, and this junction is a ileocecal valve that regulate the passage of food from the small to the large intestine. And this cecum bears a small worm-like vestigial organ called as appendix, and it is functioning in a herbivorous animal for the digestion of cellulose, and in our body it is a acts as a vestigial organ. Second portion is a colon. It entry region divided into three parts: ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending colon. And third one is a rectum. Posteriorly region about 15 to 20 centimeter long. The rectum has the longitudinal folds and large blood vessels are there. And digestive matter called as a fecal matter is temporarily stored before the digestion. This is about the large intestine, cecum, colon, and rectum. And last portion of the digestive system is the anus. The rectum opens to the outside by opening called as anus, and it is guarded by a sphincter. It removes undigested matter outside by process known as a defecation. And this is all about the human digestive system. And next portion we will see in a next lecture. Thank you.